What if one night, a woman walked into an emergency room, and everyone around her began to collapse? Doctors fainted, nurses choked, the air turned toxic, but only around her. This isn't a horror movie. This happened in real life in 1994 in Riverside, California, and the woman at the center of it all became known worldwide as the Toxic Lady. Her name was Gloria Ramirez, and her mysterious death would leave doctors, scientists, and even the military baffled for decades. So, what really happened to Gloria? Was it a tragic medical mystery or something far more sinister? Let's dive deep into one of the strangest, most haunting medical cases in history. And hey, if you love uncovering mysteries that history can't explain, make sure to subscribe, because we explore stories exactly like this to keep history and mystery alive. It was the night of February 19th, 1994. The Riverside General Hospital emergency room buzzed with the usual chaos: ringing phones, flashing monitors, and the weary shuffle of nurses on another long shift. At 8:15 p.m., paramedics rushed in a 31-year-old woman, conscious but struggling to breathe. Her name, Gloria Ramirez. She was suffering from advanced cervical cancer, and tonight her heart was racing uncontrollably. Nurses placed her on a stretcher. Doctors prepared defibrillators, but within minutes, something felt off. As they drew her blood, a strange ammonia-like smell filled the room. One nurse frowned and asked, "Do you smell that?" Another leaned closer, then suddenly staggered back. Her eyes burned, her skin tingled. Within seconds, she collapsed. Then another nurse fainted, then a doctor. One by one, the ER staff began dropping to the floor. Their bodies convulsed. Their breathing grew shallow, as if something invisible had poisoned the air. Within minutes, the emergency room had to be evacuated. Only a handful of doctors stayed behind, working frantically to save Gloria Ramirez's life. But it was too late. At 8:50 p.m., Gloria was pronounced dead. And yet, even in death, her body continued to make people sick. By now, 23 hospital workers had fallen ill. 6 were hospitalized. One nurse, Susan Kane, spent nearly 2 weeks in intensive care, suffering from breathing problems and hepatitis-like symptoms. Investigators arrived wearing hazmat suits, unsure if they were walking into a chemical attack or a viral outbreak. Gloria's body was sealed in an airtight aluminum coffin, and the coroner's office was temporarily shut down. Reporters flooded the parking lot. Everyone wanted to know what in the world happened inside that ER. For the staff, the memories were haunting. Nurse Julie Gerchinsky later described it as feeling like her body was burning from the inside. And yet, Gloria herself, moments before death, had been calm, frightened, but human. She'd whispered about her children. She'd tried to respond to doctors, even as her lungs failed. The tragedy was real, but the cause remained unthinkable. Within days, the California Department of Health and Human Services launched an official investigation. Their initial theory: maybe it wasn't Gloria at all. Maybe it was a mass hysteria event, triggered by stress, fear, and the smell of chemicals in the ER. But that explanation didn't fit. The people who fell ill had real physical symptoms: collapsing, vomiting, liver damage. This was not psychological. So the question grew darker. Was Gloria's body somehow producing a toxic chemical? To find out, her remains were sent to a forensic lab, where scientists conducted some of the strangest autopsy procedures ever performed in U.S. history. When they opened her body, they found something no one expected. Her blood contained unusual oily crystals and a faint chemical odor, unlike anything typical in a hospital. Tests revealed traces of dimethyl sulfone, a compound derived from dimethyl sulfoxide, or DMSO, a solvent sometimes used as a home remedy for pain. But how could that cause such chaos? To understand the next part, we need to dig into chemistry, but don't worry, we'll keep it simple. DMSO is a liquid once popular among athletes for muscle pain. Some people even used it at home, rubbing it on their skin for relief. It's not highly dangerous, but under certain conditions, it can turn into something deadly. Scientists proposed that Gloria, suffering from cancer and desperate for pain relief, may have used DMSO cream on her body. Inside the hospital, when she was given oxygen and electric shocks during resuscitation, the DMSO could have chemically transformed into a compound called dimethyl sulfate, a highly toxic gas that attacks the lungs and nervous system. If true, that would explain everything. The ammonia smell, the fainting nurses, the chemical burns, and breathing paralysis. It was a perfect scientific theory. Elegant, terrifying, and almost cinematic. But not everyone believed it. Many chemists and toxicologists argued that the DMSO theory simply didn't hold up under scrutiny. They pointed out that the chemical reaction proposed would require temperatures and catalysts not present in a hospital room. Others suggested the problem wasn't Gloria at all, but something in the hospital environment, maybe a leak from lab chemicals or contaminated equipment. Perhaps the OG's air system malfunctioned, spreading a vapor that mixed with the oxygen used during treatment. Still, no leak was ever found. And then there was another theory, one that made the entire story even more chilling. Some insiders whispered that Gloria's body might have been contaminated after death, that her corpse, stored for hours in the morgue, might have been tampered with, intentionally or by accident, with illegal chemicals used in the production of methamphetamine, a growing problem in 1990s California. Was it possible the fumes came from the morgue, not from Gloria herself? Could someone have been hiding something? Authorities never found proof, but the rumors spread like wildfire. What no one could explain was this: why only Gloria's body triggered such reactions? Why not any other patient treated with similar procedures that night? The mystery only deepened. Lost in the storm of speculation was the real person behind the headline. Gloria Ramirez was not some science experiment. She was a mother of two, described by friends as gentle, kind, and resilient. She'd been battling cancer bravely, still finding time to joke with her kids and care for her family despite her pain. In her final hours, she wasn't dangerous, she was dying, and yet her body somehow became a source of terror, suspicion, and scientific debate. For her family, the ordeal didn't end with her death. They fought for her dignity, frustrated that the world remembered her as the toxic lady instead of a woman who simply deserved compassion. Even today, her daughter has spoken out, saying, "She was my mother. She wasn't toxic. She was human." Over the years, experts revisited the case repeatedly. No conclusive evidence ever emerged to confirm exactly why Gloria's body released those fumes. Some modern chemists still defend the DMSO hypothesis, calling it the best fit for the symptoms. Others believe in a combination of factors: DMSO, medications, and hospital conditions, colliding in a once-in-a-lifetime reaction. But here's the unsettling truth. To this day, no one knows for sure what poisoned the staff that night. Even after thousands of hours of investigation, dozens of interviews, and countless scientific papers, the case remains officially unsolved. The Toxic Lady case changed hospital safety forever. After 1994, emergency rooms across America began implementing hazard protocols, chemical handling rules, and improved ventilation systems. The case became a staple in medical textbooks, not just for its mystery, but for its lesson that even in the safest spaces, science can be humbled by the unknown. It also sparked new interest in how chemicals interact with the human body, and how easily our best instruments can fail to explain rare phenomena. In the end, Gloria Ramirez didn't just leave behind confusion, she left behind a challenge to science itself. So, what really happened to Gloria Ramirez, the woman the world came to call the Toxic Lady? Was she the victim of a bizarre chemical reaction, or of a system that failed to protect her dignity even in death? Maybe it was both. Her story reminds us that not every mystery is meant to be solved, and that sometimes the answers we seek lie beyond the limits of what science can yet see. What do you think? Was it a natural chemical chain reaction or something more sinister? Let me know your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoyed exploring this haunting mystery, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because there are more true stories waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, stay curious, and remember, history never sleeps. It waits to be discovered.